What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Taste, and today we're actually digging into a new release from Dogfish Head out of Milton, Delaware. This is actually their Slightly Mighty Low-Cal IPA. Yeah, so probably the soon-to-be, if not already, kind of biggest trend that if you are into craft beer and a craft beer drinker, you've come across pretty much this again, new trend or soon to be biggest trend in the craft beer industry, which is low-cal craft beers. And in a lot of cases, low-cal kind of like IPAs. At least that's what I'm seeing coming out more most recently. So, yeah, really, really kind of interesting. I'll put it in the form of a question. How many of you guys and gals out there who started drinking craft beer have, as a result, over the years, gained a little bit of weight? Raise your hand. Yeah, so I kind of like this idea. It's interesting, as it relates to craft breweries seeing perhaps maybe an underserved segment that maybe hopefully they can go ahead and kind of take advantage of, and that's obviously, producing a high quality craft beer with lower calories, and perhaps maybe trying to tap into a segment of kind of beer drinkers or just drinkers in general that might be a little bit more health conscious. So I kind of dig it, and I think Dogfish Head was one of the first few that decided to come out and give this a go. So I saw it at my local bottle shop and picked it up and wanted to kind of give it a go, man. Yeah, Slightly Mighty Low-Cal IPA. It is a IPA coming in at 4% ABV, right? So obviously less ABV, right? Less sugars, less calories. So it's an IPA brewed with monk fruit extract. All right. So, yeah, like I said, coming in at 4% ABV, 95 calories, and only 3.6 carbs. All right. So let's go ahead and dive straight into this review, man. Let's see what she's freaking got. Can is pretty kind of simple there. It's just kind of got this kind of white background with a little bit of kind of teal graphics, and then, that kind of big Dogfish Head kind of logo. So, nothing crazy there. 12-ounce can format, which is all kind of cool. So let's dive straight into it. Let's get her into a gas, take a look at the appearance, get the aroma taste, and of course we're going to rate it. All right. So I'm going to pop a top on this guy, pour that beer straight into this hashtag not proper treehouse glassware. And I was actually moving this from the inside of my other fridge that I have in the garage to my smaller beer fridge here behind the bar, and I shook it up. So yeah, but as you all know, you watch my channel, you know how many issues I have pouring beer on camera, so no surprise, no difference here. All right, so let's go ahead, let's try to just pour this as best we possibly can, get that guy lined up, take a look at how that beer looks. All right, so beer is coming in a light kind of straw, kind of yellow, almost straw hay kind of color. Yeah, it looks kind of pretty simple. There's, a little bit of kind of chill haze going on there. Something a little bit more kind of unfiltered versus anything that you would perceive to be kind of hazy, but it's really not all that clear either, right? Bunch of different fingers of kind of just this kind of frothy kind of white head going on there, a little bit pillowy, but mostly as a result of just me kind of moving that can just a minute before I started filming. So yeah, I mean, beer looks pretty good, looks light, looks crushable, looks quaffable, looks all those different things. All right, so let's dive our nose into it and get an aroma. Okay. Yeah, so, a little bit of kind of overtones of grass, kind of lemony notes. It's got a bit of, best way to describe it is almost kind of seltzer-y kind of like aroma, if that kind of makes sense. Like it's got a bit of fizz to it, and it kind of comes across a little bit there within the nose itself. Yeah, not a tremendous amount of malts, like maybe just like a little bit of kind of like sweet cracker. There is a little bit of sweetness kind of perceived kind of at the top there, which I'm assuming is coming from the monk fruit. I'm not super familiar with monk fruit, but I would imagine that the addition there is to just kind of help a little bit with sweetness, to maybe kind of boost almost artificially a bit more of the malt character, simply based on the fact to be able to brew a beer like this, just malt bill is obviously not going to be, too impressive, But yeah, it smells okay. It smells just like, nice kind of really simple uber kind of light, kind of crispy kind of IPA. Little bit of hop character going on there in the form of kind of grassiness, but there's really kind of no pungent hop aroma. All right, let's dive into it and get a taste. Cheers. Okay. One more. Yeah. All right, so the taste kind of follows the nose, right? There's a bit of kind of lemony characteristics. It's mostly kind of grassy greenness kind of going on from a hop perspective, right? It's a little bit of that grassiness layering in just slightly with a little bit of bitterness. That's kind of letting me know that the style is an IPA. If it wasn't for those kind of two things, it'd be tough to kind of perceive that because the beer is seltzery. It's kind of spritzy. In terms of the overall kind of body, it's watery, it's light, right? But at the end of the day, I don't know what you could possibly expect out of a beer that's 95 calories, 3.6 carbs, and 4% ABV, right? I mean, this is kind of a beer that resembles what the way it was brewed, the ingredients that were placed into it. And to be perfectly frank with you, it's pretty tasty. It definitely is more flavorful than your typical, mass-produced macro American adjunct lager. If I wanted to kind of put this beer side by side with any of the Miller Lights, Bud Lights in the world, would I even consider it close? No, I would 100% go ahead and much rather drink Dogfish Head Slightly Mighty. So from that perspective, it's kind of a win, man. Yeah, it's seltzery, yeah, it's spritzy, it's grassy, it's light, it's slightly watery. It sort of resembles in some of those areas a bit of an IPA. But again, when you're considering what it was brewed for, how it was brewed, and kind of with the segment in mind, I don't know, I kind of got to consider that like a little bit of a win. Yeah, it actually is not bad at all. I mean, at the end of the day, if I was looking to be as flavorful with beers as I possibly still could while keeping my health into consideration and perhaps maybe even shedding a few pounds, I'd have absolutely no problem picking up a 6-pack or 12-pack of that as you kind of went through that process and, kind of did your best to kind of lay off of, your double IPAs, your pastry stouts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so not bad, Dogfish Head, not bad at all. So let's go ahead and give this guy a rating, man. So yeah, Dogfish Head Slightly Mighty Low-Cal IPA. IPA brewed with monk fruit extract, coming in at 4% ABV, 95 calories, and 3.6 carbs. I'm going to give that a 3.75 caps. Absolutely. Like I said, to wrap it up in kind of one just overall nutshell, it's a pretty tasty IPA light beer that if you're looking to be a little bit more health conscious, but you still want your beer to have a nice bit amount of kind of flavor, slight bit of hop characteristics to let you know that it is an IPA, you can certainly do a lot worse than Dogfish Head's Slightly Mighty Low-Cal IPA. All right, guys, so that'll do it for this episode of the Craftavore Taste. Hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, I repeat. Cheers.